Welcome to the clinical cookout. You know you need it, it's kinda scary, but mental health is necessary. Four educated queens taking the lead, hold their hands and they'll help you succeed. Lay your head back, relax, just like that. Now listen to, learn, and your problems will burn away. Cookout, you know, we got just what you need. At the cookout, your heart and mind we will be. At the cookout.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. We are qualified clinicians who will cover various topics on mental health and will sometimes provide community resources. We are not being paid by any organization for our content, and any information we provide is general and pertains to our own personal experiences. We do not provide psychotherapy, diagnoses, or treatment recommendations on air. Any concerns related to your individual mental health should be directed to your medical and mental health professionals. We are not responsible for others' decisions or the subsequent consequences.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Clinical Cookout. And for today, we have a spicy hot sauce regarding friendships and how you handle when you are no longer friends with someone. How do you traverse that space? So, story time. I had a friend in college and we were very, very close. We were close well after college. Like we both had kids and we were still very close. And then some things transpired in which I think she thought that I was the only person who knew a situation, and therefore I had to have been the one who told about the situation when that wasn't true. I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I was lost in the clouds. I was like, honey, I don't even know what's happening. So it ain't me. But she just didn't want to believe me. So she completely was like, well, I don't know about this friendship. Baby, you ain't got to not know with me. Once you say that, we good. I'm the type of person where when it's time for a friendship to be over, I am perfectly okay with it being over. And the way I maneuver that is you get completely cut out. I don't think about you no more. Literally right now is the first time I've actually thought about it because we're doing this topic. I'd be like, oh, okay. What's good for your life? I wish you the best, honey. We good. So that's how I operate. I don't care how close we were. If it's time for a season to be up, it's time for a season to be up.
Not letting go. I have a hard time just letting people in. So when I do get hurt like that, like or whenever it's time like that, I think I take it hard. I took a friendship recently pretty hard because I was like, wow, like I kind of trusted you. I let you get in close, and I was just like, dang, like, oh, okay, it's time for you to go. But one thing I have learned is that and this took a while over time. When a season is up, just like Auntie Ashley said, when people want to walk out of your life, you let them. And then I don't think that you let people keep on showing you themselves. Like if you show me that you grimy, that's who you are. And so now I got enough in you. So I'm going to see you and I'm going to speak too. Because when I rob you of my presence, you're going to feel it because I'm a really, really good friend. So I speak, hey, how are you? And that's it. I treat you like somebody, a coworker, and it's just that easy for me because it's you don't get to keep on hurting people and then in the name of, oh, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean to do this, or I didn't mean to do that, and I didn't mean to do that, because there's some universal things out there that should let you know how to be a friend or how to just operate when you're in a relationship with somebody. I really do believe in that. So I will nothing somebody and just be like, I'm not mad at you, I'm just done.
I think it also depends on how the relationship is, like the value of the relationship. Because I can get into a fight with one of my friends, but I think depending on maturity level and who you value, you tend to want to work that out with that person. And I have worked it out with someone who I felt was valuable. Now there are other people who I felt that, like Auntie Shug was saying, when the season is up, it's up. And if I don't want to speak to somebody or be around someone, I just won't do that. Like I don't even notice you in the room. I don't notice what you're doing in life. I don't care enough. I got too many things to be worried about, like keeping this weight down and keeping these edges intact. So I don't have time to be worried about what you're doing. And so for me, if I'm done with a friend and move on with a friend, I just move on. And there's really not nothing, like somebody can't even convince me. I don't know if it's the Leo in me, but like once a Leo is wrapped up with somebody, we just wrap it up like Reynolds. That's just it. There ain't no animosity. There ain't no hard feelings. We do. And we like all like that. Like all the Leos are like that. We just will cut somebody off. That's it. We don't see you anymore. You don't even exist. And it's not even no shade or trying to be funny toward you or try to hurt you. It's just you just don't exist in our world because we're so loyal to the people who are in our world. Those are the people we focus on. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
when a relationship,
Every Leo I know is like that. My mama, my best friend Ashley, me and Sugar's best friend Ashley, they all like that. Like they so loyal. It's like once you mess that up, it doesn't come back. And my good sis Keish, y'all know Makisha, her saying is, I don't reread the same book. I already know how it ends. I'm not going back through those chapters with somebody. And I'm like, yeah, well, damn.
Now, see, y'all all kind of saying something similar, and I just feel so different in this moment because, so I
Too
think that
nice.
it depends on a lot of factors, but I've had friendships end that I wasn't ready for them to end yet. And then I've had friendships end where I was ready. And so if I'm ready for the friendship to end, especially if it's a long-term friendship, then I can do what y'all do where I'm just like out of sight, out of mind, we done. But if I'm not quite ready for it yet, even though it ends for a particular reason and it probably needed to end, if I'm not ready for it yet, I'm still kind of like hopeful that something's going to change. Like I've seen a lot of changes in myself over the years, and so I truly believe that people can change in in a certain sense. So like not completely. We still have our personality traits that really don't change that much. But when it comes to like maturity and, emotional regulation, those are things that can change over time. So I've had friendships where the issue was a lack of maturity on my part and their part, a lack of emotional intelligence on my part and their part, or it could be one person and not the other or whatever. But I think those are things that can change over time. So I start to become hopeful like, yeah, the friendship like ended for now, but like I'm still watching your Instagram stories. Like, I still want to see what's going on in your life. Maybe we'll be friends again later if you learn how to regulate your emotions better, or if I become more mature. So, I do sometimes, like, if I'm not ready for it to end, I do fall into that, like, it's not completely over in my head yet until like it resonates. I'm like, okay, like, this is over.
Auntie Amber said it ain't. Auntie Amber said it ain't over till I say it's over.
It
Damn,
ain't over
Okay.
till
I'm
I'm
in
ready.
control.
Listen, I just don't bounce back from being hurt well. And so I think that for me, like if I'm hurt, I'll be hurt for decades. I don't know what it is. I'll be hurt for a long time. It's still people I still want to beat up from a long time ago. Like it's
See,
it's bad.
And
And
I
I
don't,
work
I
on
don't
it.
hold on to stuff like that.
Oh
I
God.
see. I'm so you hold on for a long time because you be hurt. My hurt initially is very intense. I'm very, very hurt initially, but it's over quick. Like I'm hurt initially, and then I'm over it, like quickly. Like, oh, okay. But I do get what Auntie Amber's saying too. Like I did have one particular friend in my life who I tried to hold on to that friendship forever, long past its expiration date.
Hmm.
And it was like, okay, nothing's gonna change. Like you are who you are. I am who I am, and this is not a fit anymore.
I just get re-mad and be like, you know what? Now I remember why we ain't friends again. And
I
just,
left your ass before.
I don't know. I think for me, like being in this program, learning about like human behavior and stuff and going through school, it gave me a different outlook because I think there's always a reason why someone behaves a certain way or does something to someone else. So before I just get quick to get mad and like hold a grudge, I'm like, but why did they do that? Like, what was the situation? What were the driving factors? So I guess I'm just a little more understanding. But then again, I do know that relationships end when they need to end. Like it just is what it is. It's gonna happen. So
The behaviors are important, and I understand that, but your why can't be my bondage. Your why is fine, but it's not allowed to be my bondage and my chains. I understand it. I'm empathetic to it. It can't hold me back though.
I just don't forget stuff. And they say forgive and forget. I'll forgive. I ain't mad, but I don't forget. So then I just it's crazy. But you know what? It's hereditary. No, okay, it's probably not hereditary. But I noticed my brother is like that, and two of my sisters is like that, and my mother is like that. So I was like, it's definitely learned behavior.
It's learned. I was gonna say it might not be genetically hereditary, but it's learned. So if you see how your mama operate with friends, you figure that's how you operate with friends. If they do something, this is how I'm supposed to move. You
Yeah.
repeat it.
No, like you said, okay, it's probably not genetic, but it is learned behavior. So, and not even like how, people act in like relationships and stuff like that, but just learning that like some things are forgivable, some things are not. How do you forgive? Or how do you move forward in that relationship? Me, I choose not to move forward in those relationships, but some people do. And when they're long term friendships, I think they hurt worse than when it's a friendship that might have been a little fly by night friendship, or you might have been friends with somebody for the last few years or something like that. So long term friendships, I think, could feel like death. I think it could, because you have to mourn the relationship, and it could cause a lot of anxiety, and some people go down deep dark spirals. And yeah, so let's talk about that into our main dish.
All y'all look blurry.
Glass back on. It's okay.
All y'all look
Please do
blurry.
not influence
Everybody.
that. It's a trigger for
Is
me.
it that bad?
It
I
is a
thought you were
collage
some
of brown
Keisha
right now.
House.
It is a collage of brownness. That's all I see is a blur of brown.
Hot sauce, bread.
Oh God, do you see this?
Ooh, you ashy as hell. You look like you've been beating up snow, Nick. What the hell?
Why are your knuckles
Why
like
are
that?
you that ashy right now?
Rolling
Because
around
I'm
and baby stuff.
moving.
You talk with your hands too much. Get some lotion before we be embarrassed.
I'm like I'm
Lord,
hanging up stuff.
But how
I'm
does
opening
now, now
opening boxes.
I'm over here looking gray. You gray in real life.
Oh God, I'm not ready.
I ain't gonna show
Mm-mm.
y'all my feet.
No, don't.
No, it's okay.
No.
Okay. It's okay.
All right, let's get it.
What was the
Don't
Now
you do this. I
you came
refuse it.
up with
No, no,
it.
no. I just want you to say it one more time because I didn't know if you meant long-term friends for this one or the main episode. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Oh no, the hot sauce is. Hold on.
For our question today for our hot sauce is how do you handle the friends that you're, well, what am I supposed to be saying? How do you handle people you're not friends with anymore? There we go.
Just do
Is
it
that
over,
right?
Keith.
Really?
I literally just forgot. Okay. So I just throw all that out. Not all of it.
Start over, Keish.
No,
Clean.
that's better.
That shit is upside down, though.
Ah,
Sit it on top of something.
Oh, hold on.
I'm glad you got on pants because I don't, because y'all have seen a whole bunch of coochie.
What's happening?
Out, we got just what you need at the cookout. Your heart and mind.
All right, so now that we're transitioning out of the hot sauce into the main dish, we're going to get into talking about long-term friendships and how we should handle that. Should we rekindle? Are we having anxiety around it? And I will be the first to say, having long-term friendships break off sucks. I just recently went through a situation where someone I've known for literally half my life, we decided, no, we didn't decide. We kind of just stopped talking. And I thought in my mind that everything was okay and we just neutrally moved on. But it seemed as though the other party did not have that same thought process. So it kind of blew up in both of our faces. And I'm at a standstill, I guess, about how to handle this situation moving forward. Obviously, I know that we'll never be the same friends that we were for the past, 20 years ago. I know that. But then you have that inkling of, well, could this be something that we could at least be neutral about, at least be amicable about? Or is this something that has hurt me so bad to the point I don't think it's worth it to even be amicable at this point. So, I think that sometimes when we are having these conversations about long-term friendships and how they end and what to do, I'm getting a little bit anxiety about trying to figure out what to do. And I never anticipated anything like that to happen. I was not prepared for it. So I think I'm struggling. I'll say that. I'll be honest about it. And typically I'm not very open about some, personal or friendship struggles that I have. I typically try to keep that to myself, but this one really got under my skin. And I'm kind of mad at myself because that person looped me in emotionally and I wasn't able to regulate myself like I wanted to. And we're just at a standstill. So I'm kind of in the limbo of, should I reach out to this person so we can actually have a conversation and end it completely, or should I just do what I've been doing and move on?
If you see somebody and you have an extremely emotional reaction, or there's some like y'all have a visceral reaction when y'all see each other, or there's something that's like that's unexplored, then it's probably worth reaching out. That's the way that I feel. If Because that shows that you still care.
Yeah.
That shows that there's still some kind of emotion there. To whereas now I see you and there's this big thing. Because when you don't care and you move on, you just move on.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think of a jelly bean, right? A jelly
What?
bean. Listen to my logic here, okay?
Okay, we listening.
Listen, because a jelly bean is hard on the outside, but it's soft on the inside. So
Mhm.
a lot of the times we like to be hard on the outside and act like something's not bothering us, like it doesn't affect us. But inside we all mushy and emotional about it. But because we don't want to be vulnerable, we keep that outside shell and just like struggle on the inside. And to be honest, in this situation, although I am not emotionally dysregulated and unstable like the other party in that situation, I am the person that, like, if I don't have closure, like you might think it's done and you might be cool and you moving on. But for me, it's like I said, I'm still watching your Instagram stories. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on in your life just because it's still, there's no closure for me. Like it's not done yet. Like in my mind, it's not done yet. Like I need to figure out why is it not done? What's going on? How can this friend move on from me so quickly? Like we've been friends for 15 years and all of a sudden we just neutrally move on. So like I'm that person that's just like it's hard for me to let that go,
Yeah.
and having a conversation would help me. But for the other person, you don't want to have that conversation just to help that friend.
Right.
You got to do what's right for you and what you
Right.
think would be helpful for you.
Right.
Mhm. So this, all the examples being given really show that we don't know how to communicate. Because, and I know even for me and some of my friendships, that has been the case because a lot of times a breakdown will happen and you don't even know why. Like that's what bothers me. It's not that I necessarily feel like the friendship might have not have had its problems or something anyway. But I don't like when people have a problem with me and I don't know what your problem is because I'm walking around here like we cool and you have this issue and why haven't you told me about the issue? But then I realize I kind of do that too. And I think that's because a lot of us are conflict avoidant. So I don't want to tell, like, I got a problem with you, but maybe I'm overthinking it, like, well, I shouldn't have the problem or it's not that big of a deal, but it's really bothering me. And now I didn't address it. And now it's the breakdown of a friendship. And neither one of us know why. So for me, that's a big deal. With friendships, that the one that I explained in the hot sauce, we actually did have a discussion. So it was like, okay, we had a discussion. You are where you are. I am where I am. We good. But for most of them, it's never a discussion.
Well, we've had peripheral discussions. So not necessarily a sit down and talk, but more of the situation was brought up. We discussed it briefly. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're good. We handled it. And especially if I find out that you've been asking my family members about me, how am I doing? In my mind, there is no issue. If I'm getting all that, if we've had peripheral conversations again when one of our family members passed away, each one of us has reached out through a third party saying, I'm sorry for your loss. In my mind, everything's okay. So when we see each other and the conversation is a blow up, um, what just transpired here? So I have so much anxiety about even what route to even take. because I'm getting two different, I got a different person than from what I was being told about. So the person that was in front of me was not the person that has been presenting behind the scenes this whole time with my family members, with, all them other conversations. So I guess I was confused. And because that person has been a part of my life for 20 years, how do you give them the grace? Like Auntie Amber was saying, people grow up. I've grown up. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. So I feel like going through school, learning about human behavior, learning about regulation, I've already regulated and calmed down and put the situation aside. And maybe I didn't address it, but maybe just put it to a side. It's just, I think it's messy. I don't do messy friendships. I just don't do that. Hi.
Just right in the middle of the recording. Hello.
Hi, Izzy.
Yeah.
Now see
So,
though, now that little tidbit of information would have me cut somebody off without a question. The person at a friend or somebody who used to be a friend asking everybody else about me but me would push me right over the edge. I'd be like, okay, no. See, that's when things get messy. Because why? Why are you comfortable asking everybody else? Especially when everybody know we had a friendship. Like, as me, I would be like, well, why don't you call and ask her? So, like, I don't understand that messiness in friendships is a problem to me because that's the one area where you shouldn't have mess. Your friends are supposed to be your support, not your source of anxiety.
Mess though. I think that might be like if somebody kept on saying how such and such, how such and such, I would say because even like okay, say like you're 12, right? And this boy comes up to you, he's like, "How's Ashley? How's Ashley?" I'm gonna be like, "You must like her. You always want to talk about her." That's
Mm.
the same thing I would think about that friend. Is like, you must miss her because you keep on asking about her, you're inquiring about her. Like, why don't you call her?
And I would think that at 12, not at 30 something, we grown.
Well, yeah.
Like, and see, when Keish said she's grown, see, sometimes our friends don't grow with us. And that's another thing we tend to ignore. Just because you've grown, you've learned how to emotionally regulate, you've learned these different things. Everybody has it. Everybody's not on the same path. And a lot of times we will get held back trying to remain in a space that we outgrew.
and the reason why is because, I like the fact that you prop that up about you can grow, but your friends don't. Because during that conversation, that blow up, it was a lot of mention of my secondary education. We wasn't friends while I was getting my secondary education. So I had no clue what that had to do with the conversation. And it was more of you think you're better than me because you've gotten this. And I was literally in disbelief because I hadn't spoken to this person. So I'm in my mind I'm thinking, where are you getting this from? I haven't spoken to you. And so I'm like, see, this this is why we not friends. And I'm trying to give you an olive branch. If they had came to me and been like, you know what? I see me and you didn't speak earlier at our function that we were at. I kind of want to come over here and just kind of understand why we not speaking. Is there something we need to speak about? We could have had crumpets and tea this weekend.
But
But
let's be
now,
honest, a lot of long-term friendships end for that reason.
right.
I would say probably over half of them end for that reason because one person is maturing and growing with their chronological age,
Yeah.
and the other one tends to get stuck at some point in their life. Like people people can you can be 38 years old, but there's something that happened in your life and you're stuck at 28. Like you're just stuck there because you can't move past whatever that situation was or whatever happened. And so you act like you a 28-year-old who can't really regulate, who doesn't know what they want for themselves, just kind of like back and forth, unpredictable, unhinged in a sense, because people get stuck. They get stuck. So when you have one person who is growing and maturing the way that is appropriate for development and then the other person just stays stuck, that is usually the reason why friendships or even relationships in general end,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't balance that unless you're a super empathetic and super understanding and like have attachment problems and can't detach from people. Unless that's your issue, most of the time people are like, all right, time for me to go.
And that scenario of you thinking you better comes seemingly for everybody who goes to any height in their life. I don't care what thing you accomplish. Somebody in your past, I've heard some people say that they think I think I'm better. No, they think you're better. They think that's a projection, and they say that because in their mind they feel like, oh, you have surpassed where we are, so you must feel like you better. But it's really an internal thing, and you can't help people through that.
Right.
There is not much you can even do as a friend for something like that.
And I don't think it's that you. I don't think it's that they even mean that. What they say. Oh, you think you're better? I think they mean. I think I'm less than. That's what people really should start saying. And not you think you're better. I think I'm less than, because that's like Ashley said. That's a projection, and you can't be friends with somebody who is jealous of you. That's one thing we gotta stop trying to do too. Stop trying to hold on people who are jealous. And sometimes they're not jealous throughout the whole friendships. What I've just experienced is that sometimes when things happen in their lives and their growth gets stunted and you're still growing, then they get mad. And now you're better, or now they feel inferior. And so now they start to project their stuff on you. And one thing I started recently saying is that's your stuff.
Right. That's
So
your
y'all
business.
know. Yep, that's your cuss.
Yeah, that's key right there. And it just kind of caught me off guard. That's all. And that's what kind of triggered me when they started talking about my post-secondary education. Because y'all know how hard I fought for that. Y'all know what I've been through to get through that. And that to be thrown in my face as if I specifically got that degree to like shit on them. And I'm like, is it crack that you want? I literally had to ask myself, was it crack? Because I was like, ain't no way that they conjured up that story in their head and thought that. Like, what?
No.
That's
Well, the
what
thing
people
is
do when they
too.
feel they've been wronged. That's what they do. They really feel like you're out to get them and you're targeting them, and everything that you do
Right.
is like
Personally,
towards them. So
Yes.
like I have a situation right now where somebody thinks that everything I post online, everything like topics that we talk about on the clinical cookout are directed towards them. Little do they know, I
Is
don't
it?
even come up with half the topics. I just talk about them.
it's definitely crack.
Nobody thinking about you, but people really get that in their mind, like, oh, you coming to get me, like you trying to be better than me. No, I'm really not even thinking about you. I do certain things in my life. You think I paid $60,000 for a degree just to outdo you? Is
Hey,
that
you think I
I
went
ain't
through
thought
my
about you.
medical issues for
I
you?
ain't doing a month of Sundays. I have no idea what is happening right now.
like what?
It's
That's crazy.
Listen, you know what went through my mind when they were talking about that? I was thinking to myself, like, bitch, I'm trying to keep my A1C levels down. And you over here talking about, girl, my blood pressure is high. Yeah, I'm pre-diabetic, sis. I ain't even thinking about what you talking
round,
about.
round about the neck.
About the goddamn thing you talking about. My
And I
A1C
have diabetes of the neck.
right. I really got diabetes of the neck, and you over here wondering about why I did a degree because of you. Girl, please. Girl, please.
Listen, I got
I
a
wish.
question. Do y'all think that after a long-term friendship, do you think that you owe that person a conversation when you decide to end the relationship?
And that is where I'm stuck.
That's
That's a
long term.
good
I'm not
goddamn
talking
point.
the little party friends every now and then, but like a 10 to 15-year friendship. Do you feel like you owe that person the space to sit down and talk it out and communicate to release it?
That's a good question.
It
I don't.
depends. It depends. That is very, very subjective and unique to the situation.
If I'm talking to somebody, it's because I'm gonna rekindle it. It's not because I'm gonna be like, but we're not gonna be friends anymore, okay? All right. If I'm talking to somebody, I'm probably gonna be like, let's find out what's going on. But I had a friendship that we were friends for a long time, and then I don't know what happened. She actually cut me off, but she actually was kind of weird anyway. Like she kind of cut everybody off, and then we ain't seen her in like years. So I just figured she went crazy, but um, I just don't feel like there's a need to have that conversation. I'm just like, basically, you said what you said. Like, I get it. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and be, because why do you owe somebody a reason for not wanting to talk to them no more?
Yeah.
Can I give you a different perspective, Shug? The reason why I'm even open to it, Amber, is because I was that night I was out with people who I am friends with, and they ruined that moment. And I am the type of person where if I'm going back home to see my family, I ain't tiptoeing around no bitch. I'm not tiptoeing around you. And I don't want the same thing to keep happening. So to me, I'm like, we got to sit down and do something because I cannot not see you for X amount of years and then boom, it's a blow up the first time I see you. So is this going to happen the next time? I don't got time for that.
Mhm.
I want to come home and be comfortable. And that's the only reason why I would. Now,
Yeah.
yes, I do agree, Suge. I wouldn't be, you said what you said. Let's wrap this up. Let's
Yeah.
go. But in this specific situation, there was, you ruined the moment for someone else that I hadn't seen. And now I got to figure out if I come home, how we going to try to, maneuver around where we going so that way we don't run into you. And to me, I don't like moving that way. I don't want no bitch trying to tell me what I can and can't do and where I can and can't be at. So I'd rather lay it to rest so that way I can go out comfortably with my people without it being an issue.
If I'm still talking, I care.
See, and this is why I usually am not still talking. Like for me, it's a matter of if I do still care. If I've become apathetic, I don't still care. I don't want to talk about it. I don't feel like we owe anybody anything. And I feel like sometimes we look for closure when the door has already been closed and we reopen it and then other things fall out that door. In this case, being able to go home and move about comfortably. So, clarifying question, do you and this person have mutual people that are friends? Okay. So see, that's the dynamic that makes it difficult because there are people that both of you are friends with. So you might be in the same vicinity a lot when you go home. So I don't know if that warrants so much as a conversation as much as it warrants a boundary. Like, look, because of this blow up, I know we can never go back to what we were. Nor am I saying that that's what I want. But also, that can't happen again. Like that's more of a boundary to me than I want to have a conversation with you to try to parse some things out. It's already done. The way that interaction occurred showed you who that person was. So for me, once you show me, I seen it, I'm done. Boundary.
Well, just remind me to never fall out with Suge because I'm the friend that needs the closure. Like even if we're not rekindling, I need just a conversation to talk about what happened. If I'm the reason why the friendship is ending, tell me that so I can like reflect and work on myself for future friendships. But I don't think it's owed to me, and I don't think I owe that to anyone else. But I do think that when you've been friends with someone for so long, they've been a big part of your life. I mean, I just think that could be helpful in some situations. But I do, as we close out for today, I would like to ask the audience when it comes to long term friendships, because when you've been friends with someone for a long time, you let some things go, right? Like some things that you wouldn't accept from other friends, you might accept from your long term friends. But what are the absolute non negotiables, maybe non forgivables, when it comes to long term friendships that would lead you to just cut it off and not even consider rekindling?